Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
Join host Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz this and every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken. Join the pause as they'll have a different Eagles alumni guest each week and break down the team's upcoming matchup. It's the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM.
You're listening to 1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at 107.3 W297CL Levittown.
Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Yardley, Pennsylvania.
Welcome to Wide Open Wednesday here on WBCB. Here are your hosts, Nick Leach and Fred Fletcher.
All right, welcome everybody. We got one action-packed hour here coming up. We got plenty of callers. We got a lot of topics, a lot to go over from what happened last week, and we have some really, really good news about some stuff going on. So without further ado, my partner in crime, Nick Leach.
Yeah, we done some stuff last weekend that was pretty cool, and got to thank a few people for that, and got to thank Brian Lake for giving us a golf cart so we could ride around this time and do our thing. Got to go back to New Egypt Speedway and for Legends of the Fall and the Garden State Gunfight, and honor John Schmedlin and Fred Bittner. Of course, Fred Bittner, Mark Bittner drives one of them 305 sprint cars, so the 305 series honored Fred Bittner, and then of course Jen Schmedlin honored her father. She made me a special guest there to do some talking about her dad, and got a chance to interview Darryl Carmen, which I would have never got a chance to do if Jen didn't bring him to the racetrack. Of course, Darryl Carmen drove the 2J. He also drove the 747, and got a chance to interview him. Also got a chance to do the match races, thanks to Oliver Communications and Construction. So Fred got a chance to go out in the infield and film me doing the match races, which is always popular there, and it was pretty neat. I wasn't expecting to do that. I had talked to Phil about it before, and he made it happen. So I got to thank him and PJ for that, and got to thank Jess and Mark Blackwell for letting us go there and do our thing. And we've been very welcome any place we have went. We're contemplating maybe going to Bridgeport this weekend for the big show that they're having. Right. But yeah, I got to thank Brian Lake, because when me and Fred went to Bridgeport, we kind of wore our knees out. So, and Brian knew that we were there, and he said, "Damn," he said, "if I knew you were there, I'd have gave you my golf cart." So, I took him up on it this time because mine's kind of in hibernation. Kind of in limbo to see what we're going to do with it. So, but no, we got an action-packed show this week. We got a lot of good callers going to call in. Yeah, hopefully you're out there on your drive home and you're supporting the Wide Open Wednesday program. Don't be afraid to call in. We'll talk about any kind of racing, anything you want to do.
Of course, 215-949-3232.
Yeah, that's right. Give us a call. We'll talk about any kind of racing you want to talk about right now. We'll talk about some of the great sponsors we have. This guy sitting next to me goes above and beyond what a sponsor should do. And, Fletcher's Garage, and Fred Fletcher sitting next to me here has taken me under his wing and given me free reign to do whatever I want to do. Of course, Fred was with me Saturday, but you would never know it until he poked his head in the camera. He just kind of let me do whatever I wanted to do. And Fletcher's Garage, that's right. They've been serving Bucks County, a trusted auto mechanic since 2001, but Fred's been a mechanic his whole life with his father and doing all the stuff that he does. So Fletcher's Garage, located on 480 Hood Boulevard, Fairless Hills, PA. And you can call them at 215-295-4931, or you can go to www.fletchersgaragepa.com. Anything you need in a way of getting your car fixed at Fletcher's Garage, just remember this. If Fletcher's can't fix it, it's broken. So,
Yep. Then we call the junkyard.
And we were sponsored by Need for Speed. That's Fred's program that he has on Thursday mornings from 9 to 9:30. He does America's Mechanic, and that's why we call him the mechanic. And then from 9:30 to 10 a.m. he does Need for Speed when Earl Krause usually calls in. Earl's not going to call in today. He's got a previous engagement, so we're going to not have Earl today. But we got a couple other people that are going to call.
We'll have tomorrow.
Yep, we'll have them tomorrow. And then, of course, one of our sponsors is going to call in today because he is a racer. So we're looking forward to talking to Bob Drayton. Of course, Bob was a small block modified driver and a modified driver at Bridgeport, at East Windsor, and at New Egypt. So we're looking forward to talking to Bob. And but, of course, they're one of our sponsors of our show. They've been in business since 1955. As Fred says, they've been taking crap since 1955. A locally owned business since 1955. Licensed and insured. Free estimates available. 24-hour emergency service. Military and senior discounts available. Quality products. Excellent customer service. Sponsor of our show, Sherry and Bob Drayton. They're located at 5151 Big Hill Road, Southampton, New Jersey. 609-859-3629. www.mrbobs.com, and they are some of the cleanest things you can take a number 2 in. Now, if you need your back cracked, you got to talk to Fred's sponsor.
Yeah, it was Sage Chiropractic over 123 North Sycamore Street in Newtown.
You've got me.
I just went down there last week. I had an adjustment with Mike, and we're talking over some things about what's going on with me. They do more than just backs. It's like a whole body. The chiropractic, if he can explain it better than I can, but chiropractic covers your whole body, no matter. It's
And
not
you
just
went
the back.
there, right?
I went there last Thursday. I was talking to him about how I couldn't pick up my shoulders, and I thought I had a torn rotator cuff, and I do in the right one, but in the left one I couldn't pick it up more than 90 degrees, and I'm like, yeah, my rotator cuff's really bad. So he felt it. He goes, "You don't have a torn rotator cuff. It's like half out of place." So he's like,
So he cracked you.
Yeah, so he pushed it back in there. I can pick my left arm up and then do whatever I want with it. So, it's just everything. And then, like you said, when we walked our knees off, he straightened out my legs and everything. I was an inch and a half off.
He gained an inch and a half. Yeah. You understand what he's trying to tell you?
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit taller now.
And his wife's happy too. Never mind. I'm not even going to go there, because then we're going to have to get another sponsor for that category and go there. It's bad enough we talk about Johnny Longhots. Okay, so but that's Steve's sponsor. That's another segment for another day. But
so this is probably the time Mike's got it on in his office, so we apologize.
Well, sorry, Mike. It is a family show. We appreciate your sponsorship, and thank you very much. I'll be coming down there. Hopefully, you can get me an inch and a half, 2 inches. I'd really appreciate that. On my right side, I feel like I'm shorter on my right side than my left side. I'm right-handed, and I don't have the reach I used to have when I was younger. So never mind, Fred. Don't even say it, all right? I know what you're thinking.
You know what? I was practicing not how to word that earlier, so you wouldn't do that. It didn't work out. See, there was no good way of doing it.
You got to realize who you're a partner
That's
with.
Sage Chiropractic now.
Yeah, that's Sage Chiropractic. They're a family-oriented business.
Yeah.
Please do not take that out of context.
No, it's all in fun.
It's all in good fun. And just remember, go down there, get your back cracked, get yourself in order. I'm going to go down there. He's going to take care of me and get me straightened out, because I'm off-centered to begin with.
You need it. You need it.
Gee, thanks, Fred. I really appreciate the comments. And I can't forget my niece, Tina. She's my #1 supporter. Mm-hmm. And she was at New Egypt. And I got to do the match races, and it was very emotional for her. So, Tina, thank you for everything that you do. We got to thank Kate Brown for everything that she does for us. We have our cheat sheets thanks to Kate. She sets up all the stuff for the show. She gets us some guests, and we got some people that are going to call in today that might surprise you. So we have, like we said, we went to New Egypt Speedway, and we were at the Legends of the Fall weekend, and Ryan Heim won. The Friday night program went pretty well. Ryan Heim won the 602 Crate Sportsman race. The modified non-winners race was won by Jack Butler. And then, of course, Smoke, better known as Corey Fleming, and Godzilla won the street stock feature. The 4 cylinders was won by none other than Bob Drayton III. And when it hits the fan, he's your man.
Did you drive a porta potty?
Yeah, and whatever you eat, he's got a seat. So then the Saturday night program. Okay, we were there for that, 74 laps. Billy Pouch Jr. in the Breitenstein car gets it done, the number 14. Billy periodically comes to New Egypt, had the hot setup. The Breitenstein car is always fast. Whoever drives it, wherever it goes, it's always fast. He won the modified feature, 74 laps. The 602 Crate Sportsman was won by none other than Joey Toth. Joey has been struggling a little bit. I had a chance to talk to him when he won his heat race, and he said he got sick during the season, kind of set him off a little bit. And Brendan Hires won the New Egypt Wingless Sprint Car feature. The Mass 305 Bittner Memorial was won by Buddy Swabbins. We had a chance to talk to him. And the match races were won by Justin Grasso. And I believe we have a phone call. Who we got?
Billy Kleinspan.
Oh, Billy Blaze is on the line. Put Billy through. We'll talk to him real quick.
He's on.
William, how are you?
Good. How are you, Nick? Always a pleasure to join you.
Always a pleasure to have you, Bill. And I understand you guys were pretty busy this weekend. What happened down at Maple Grove this weekend?
Well, for the third time in Maple Grove history, first it happened in '93, and then it happened last year, and now it happened again this year. We had 2 Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series events here at Maple Grove Raceway. Unfortunately, because of the hurricane that came through earlier in September, the event was originally supposed to be at Virginia Motorsports Park, but because of the weather, they canceled it. And no sooner after they canceled it, Maple Grove Raceway stepped up to the plate for the second straight year, so our NHRA Division I racers could have a good season finale to clinch the Division I championships for this season.
Cool. I was following it on the internet, and then Nancy was telling me I'd call her periodically when she's there doing all the stuff that she does over there. And she said, man, it is really packed, and then you can hear the cars in the background. A lot of neat race cars were there, Bill. And then they had that Hemi thing going on, and you guys were busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Drag racing has always been known as the world's fastest rolling car show, but we also promote the stars as well. And this weekend proved that we had a huge turnout of racers for the final event for the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series in Division I. As you know, this time of year, Maple Grove is known for those historic performances, and a lot of people came out to get one last trip down the track at Maple Grove. And we're very happy with the way the turnout was for this weekend.
Well, that's great. Now, what do we got left, Bill? We got anything left? We got a flea market coming, then we got a couple test and tunes left?
Yep, this weekend is our fall swamp meet or flea market. That's the last of our 3 swamp meets and flea markets that we do. Usually our spring and the fall ones are 2 of the biggest in the area. The pit area is going to be absolutely packed this weekend. And then we have 2 test and tunes that are going to be scheduled for. One is the November the 9th, I believe it is, and then the other one is the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So we have a lot of great test and tunes coming out. And also, in case you guys didn't see the announcement on Facebook, we're going to be trying something new this winter. As you know, Maple Grove Raceway has always been a trend center in the drag racing world, and with the Koretsky's stepping up to the plate, taking over the ownership of famed Maple Grove Raceway, they're reinforcing that. We're doing a daily driver racing this winter, so if you want to bring your street car down to the track, the first one will be on December the 14th, and then we're going to have our New Year's Eve race on December the 28th, and then we're going to have another daily driver race on January 27th, 22nd or 25th. And then we're going to have our fall, or our winter of fall. That's a big no prep event. That will be in February. So if you want more information, check us out on MapleGroveRaceway.com and be there.
I usually put all that stuff on our web outlets and our media outlets, and I'm thinking like the little old lady from Pasadena showing up at Maple Grove with her streetcar.
Running my wife's Toyota RAV4 down.
Yeah, there you go. If we're letting streetcars down there, all the boys from Philly will be down there with their daily drivers. They'll tell you that they're daily drivers, Bill, but you know different. But no, I mean, the season's coming to a close, but Maple Grove's always got something going on. Kyle's always got something twisting in his brain and doing something. But tomorrow is Halloween. So, of course, we had our Halloween stuff at Maple Grove. That was pretty cool. But we appreciate you calling, Bill, every week. And we still want you to call every week. Even if there's nothing going on, you can tell us what's going to happen for next year, too.
All right, sounds good, Nick. Always a pleasure to be on your show. Always enjoy it.
All right, Bill, we always enjoy having you. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you.
Thank you, guys, and happy Halloween to all the viewers out there. We'll see you this weekend at Maple Grove for the Fall Flea Market.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Yep,
All right, we
bye-bye.
got to take a break, Stephen. Click. We're taking a break.
Join host Paul Domowitch and Paul Jalvitz this and every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken. Join the Paws as they'll have a different Eagles alumni guest each week and break down the team's upcoming matchup. It's the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM.
Serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since 1957, WBCB can help your business grow. If you want to gain more exposure locally, contact us at 215-949-3232. That's 215-949-3232. Or contact Matt at WBCB1490.com. That's Matt at WBCB1490.com. WBCB Radio. Here today, here yesterday, and here tomorrow. Now on 107.3 FM as well as 1490 AM.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
Everything you wanted to know about funerals and planning but did not know who to ask. Tune in on Mondays to the Galzerano Funeral Home. More than just a funeral home, Louis A. Galzerano III has been serving Bucks County for over 100 years. Family owned and operated by Louis and his wife Carol. Galzerano Funeral Home serves all faiths and nationalities. A full-service funeral home with a full line of cremation options and a crematory on the premises. 2 locations to serve you and your family, one in Bristol and one in Levittown. Call 215-788-2821 or 215-945-8484. Special rates to show our thanks to all servicemen and women as well as the FOP. Galzerano Funeral Home, 215-788-2821 or 215-945-8484.
And we're back here on a Wide Open Wednesday, your favorite racing show here on WBCB. Here are your hosts once again, Nick Leach and Fred Fletcher.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to what we were doing here. Okay, we did the Legends of the Fall. We did the winners for that. Now we go to BAPS Motor Speedway. Okay, to Kevin Goldberg, 10 grand to win. RV 4-wheel drive and Performance Automotive Incorporated 410 Sprint. Danny Dietrich, Double D Racing, Ultras Wingless Super Sprint was Bill Bryan Jr. Super Homes, Lancaster, Kinzer, Thomason, Extreme Shocks was Patrick McLean. And then we go to Orange County, the Short Track Super Series race. Well, them races were won by Stuart Friesen and the sportsman race was won by Brian Crummell. Then we go to Friday. There was 358 big block sportsman qualifying. Saturday, we go to the small block race. That was won by Matt Williamson, Money Matt. And then in new sprint cars, Eric Jennings set up a big race there at Orange County. Was great. Got a good turnout for that. Hopefully it's going to be an annual thing. And Eric Jennings winds up winning that. Sunday, of course, the Eastern States 200. Stuart Friesen. Okay, and I reached out to Stu to try and get him to call so we could talk to him about his big win. And the Street Stocks was won by Bobby Slate.
You had a big weekend last weekend there, Stu.
Yeah, Stewie was collecting some checks. We wound up hanging out with him and doing some stuff. So, yeah. I mean, there's not too much racing left. I mean, there's a few shows left. There's a big show left at Bridgeport that we're contemplating on seeing what we got going on this weekend. So
yeah, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about our weekend and our Saturday night at New Egypt. We had such a good time. I was up there with Pete, and I was watching you do your thing. I was holding the camera while we went cruising through the pits, and everybody was so happy to see us. I just wanted to get that on camera, and I didn't want to interrupt it or anything like that. So, it was so nice to see the reception that you got. And then being down in the infield, watching the match races and watching the crowd react to how you handled the match races, it was amazing. It was amazing. The crowd just did like a 180. Everybody got up and watching all the guys run. We'll talk with when Paul Mancini calls, we could talk about his run. And, all the guys that ran. I mean, it was just looking from the infield to the stands was a different perspective for me. But to watch the whole crowd, the whole crowd got into it.
Well, when that first started with Freddie Raymer, they call it an Australian shuffle is what they call it. Mm-hmm. And that's how that started. Buffy Swanson and Jim, we had a 410 show. And Raymer, this Australian shuffle, I'm like, wow, that is like so cool. Mm-hmm. So then we done it in the modifieds, and I'm like, wow. And then they said, you're going to do it, and you're going to go down on the track, and you're going to interview the guys, and put your microphone inside the car with them, and to me that is, there's nothing better than that. It's so cool. Like Justin, I go in there and I look at Justin, I'm looking in this kid's eyes, and I'm like, geez, oh man, I remember when he was up in the tower on top of the counter, when he was a little guy, and now he's winning modified features, and Brandon, the same thing. It's just, that is so cool to be out there to do that. And the fans are interacting with you. And I can hear them yelling and screaming. And probably Paulie Hartwig's dad was yelling the most. And they yell at you, and you come back at them, and you have a good time. They're just interacting with the fans again.
And the fans having to get to see their favorite drivers one-on-one.
Right.
And you getting them into it. And it was just like, oh, man, this is something special tonight.
Yeah, it was really cool. I really enjoyed that. That's like one of my favorite things to do there, and to be able to do Wide Open Wednesday there and do Race Day Live.
I want to apologize because I was, if the camera was a little shaky, I was shivering my butt off. It was cold out there.
So, what do we got? A caller? Oh, okay. Well,
Mr.
put this guy through. All right, we have Mr. Drayton on the line. Bob, how are you, young man?
I'm okay. How are you?
Well, we're doing good. Of course, you could, they didn't have you on Saturday night. If they had you race on Saturday night, I'd have been there to talk to you. But you wind up winning on Friday night, and good deal. I mean, this 4-cylinder thing, you seem like you're having a lot of fun with that.
Just like the old days on a Friday night, huh? 30 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And what it would really be cool if one of these tracks switched to Friday night, then you would have your whole weekend again. But knowing you from years past, we never had a free weekend, because if you raced on Friday night, you went somewhere else on Saturday night. Now, Bob, the people that don't know you, I know you because you're family to me. We raced Friday, Saturday. We'd race at Kmart on a Sunday if we had to. You've raced modifieds. You've raced street stocks. You raced with Ron John in the street stocks, and you've come up. You've won in a 4-cylinder now. You've won in a modified at New Egypt, a 358 at New Egypt. Do I got to get you a wingless sprint ride?
That would be fun. I drove a sprint car once for Steve Wilson. He brought us. Matter of fact, I owe him. He says I still owe him a ride in a modified. I said, well, you got to pull it out of the shed.
Well, there you go.
That was fun. That was fast. I tell you what, it was a wing sprint. I don't remember what engine.
Yeah, it was probably one of them three when they first started the 305 series. When they first started that,
something like that. 363. Yep. It wasn't the big ones, but it was fast. It took your eyeballs.
Yeah, you got to be on your toes with that. Now, you got into the 4-cylinder thing because of your son, because your son wanted to follow in the footsteps. You got into it. He got into it. I mean, he's doing a lot of things with school and all that. And but yeah, I mean, you got into it, and now you're winning and you're having fun. And, of course, you sponsor our show. We really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. But, Bob, you've always been one of my favorites, and your family has been so good to me over the years. Let's talk about your business for a minute. 55 years you've been in the business. As Fred said, for 55 years you've been taking crap. You've been in that for a long time, man.
Well, actually, I think it's longer than that. It's since 1955.
Yeah, so it's longer than that.
What am I saying? Taking crap.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, how did that happen? Was your dad in it, and then it just transferred over?
My grandpa worked for a fella named Jimmy Swartzler.
Okay,
is what I recall.
Okay.
And they were in excavation and stuff like that, and digging basements. And my grandpa decided to go on his own.
Okay.
And back then, if you had a piece of equipment, which if I remember right, he had maybe a bulldozer and a dump truck. I think probably a single axle dump truck.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody has one. Now everybody has a machine now. But back then, if you had a piece of equipment, you really had something. And so he started with the excavation part of it, like clearing land. Back then.
That's cool.
Back then there was plenty of land to be had. So clearing land, putting in driveways, digging basements, and digging cesspools.
Right.
Which later on, however, he dug and installing cesspools, like building them by hand. My dad recalls when he was a teenager, hopping down in a hole, and you have the curb block, and you would build them by hand.
Right.
And subsequently, later, a couple years later, the homeowner would call and say, "Hey, Bob, can you come pump this out?" And he goes, "Well, I don't have a truck."
Right.
And so finally, he decided to get a truck to pump the cesspools out. So that's where that started. I don't know what year that was.
Right. That's crazy.
Before my time also.
Right.
And then he would get calls. The office would get calls. There's only, I think, 2 girls in the office then.
Right.
And from farmers and different people to know, because it was a smaller world back then. You just knew everybody.
Right.
And they would call and say, "Hey, Bob, get me one of them porta pots." He says, "I don't have any." So then in 1971, he said to my grandma, "You know what? We ought to try that out." And they bought 16 fiberglass porta potties from a guy in Virginia.
Wow.
In 1971. That's how that started.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Now, the ones that you have now, do you get them, somebody builds them strictly for you, Bob, or do you
that's worldwide.
That's worldwide? Okay.
Yeah, that's a place in, I believe, Minneapolis, but they're worldwide. They have factories everywhere, and they ship everywhere. But so now it's just if you really pay attention, everybody, not everybody, a lot of people go, "Oh, I saw you here and I saw you there." I'm like, nah, that's just a competitor. They all look the same. But
right.
We're just mainly with the porta pots in like a 35, give or take, mile radius from our hometown here in Southampton.
Right. Yeah, but now racing. I know you were close with Casey Kalandowski. Everybody knows who CC was. I mean, he helped my brother John a lot, and he was a great guy. How did you get involved with the racing, Bob?
So Casey was my school teacher, my shop teacher at Lenape from, 1988 to when I graduated, 91. So he was a really neat guy, and he would always have us tinker with stuff. And what he really liked about me, you'll maybe find this funny, is he said, "Hey, Drayton, I got a Corvette that has some damage, and I know you know how to fix fiberglass because you fix those shit houses. Whoop them." He goes, so anyway, he had me working on this Corvette, and of course I knew how to mix the mix, and I know how to do the resin. I also know how to do the glass. I know how to lay it out.
Right.
Everything from started fixing porta potties probably at 14 or 15.
That's funny.
And but the problem is it's hard work. You got to try to wear some kind of suit. Some days he wouldn't have a suit, or I wouldn't wear a suit.
Right.
He says, oh yeah, because you're just going to bust it out real quick.
Right.
And it was first period, so. You get fiberglass on your first period. Try concentrating the rest of the day. Maybe that's why I didn't do so good sophomore year.
Yeah, itching and carrying on.
Oh yeah,
and
itching, and if you break a sweat, you break a sweat, the fiberglass.
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh man.
Yep. My brother owned a body shop. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
Too. It's nasty.
So Casey had the modified back then. That he barely ran it, and I really wanted him to run it. And he goes, oh, it's not ready. I said, well, what does it need, man? Let me come over and help you get it ready. I didn't really know what I was doing back then, but I would go over there and help him out. But he would race once in a while, and it was great to watch him race.
Right.
And you probably remember that one night, that fateful night that he
the throttle stuck,
got knocked unconscious. He got knocked unconscious, and his foot stayed on the throttle.
Yep. Yep.
And we said, my pop and I said, holy mackerel, look how fast he's going. And here he was knocked unconscious and never lifted.
Right.
Almost like that fella in the NASCAR that went around the top there last year or the year before.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just like that. And, man, he walloped that wall and broke
Well,
his leg.
he was so smart, Casey was. Him and my brother John, before there was ever a wheelchair accessible third door on a van for a wheelchair. He come to my brother, he said, I have somebody that has a wheelchair, but they can't get in their minivan. I need to find a way to make this door. Well, him and my brother at Delran Auto Body figured out how to make this third door on the van. Now, figure out how many years ago this was. And they figured it out, and they never patented it. And now, how many of them vans have a third door on them? Yeah. And Casey...
Well, they probably started it.
Yep. Casey and my brother John started. Casey came with the drawings and all the stuff, and him and John worked on that, and this person he knew got the first one, and Casey said, John goes, you should patent that, I'm telling you. Next thing you know, everybody has one. But, I mean, Casey was so much fun to be around. And Jack Swain was also Jack Swain's teacher. And Jack got into racing because of Casey. So, I mean, when I mentioned Casey around you, I could tell you were very fond of him. I'm very fond of him. My brother remembers him. I mean, I know the Kinseys were very fond of Casey. He was something else. Now, what are we doing for next year? We still doing the 4-cylinder thing, you and the boy?
That's the plan as of now. His car's a little beat up. He really took a hit there early in the season, and we had 3 backhoes to try to pull it straight, and it hasn't really been right since. And he's been busy with different things, and he needs more seat time is what he needs. But he also, in his car, he was having fun Friday night. He said. I mean, we started out a little rough. He hit me in the hot laps, and we had to fix the toe out.
Right.
But he had fun. He said, Pop, I'm pretty sure I had a top 5, maybe even a top 3, because I was coming, but he got a little high there and hit the wall, and then somebody came across the track, I think, the next lap. But he loves it, and I love it, but it's not the same without him there.
Right.
And I don't want to do it for me. I want to do it for him, and
exactly.
Him being in college and all. But he's only an hour away, so we grab him, we pick him up,
right.
And but we might be looking for a different car for him.
Okay.
Just because that one's
right.
She's seen better days.
I hear you.
So that's the plan, and I also I want to try to. Make it a little more interesting. Try to get some more, get some more cars out there on the track, maybe. So I'm looking to when we have them longer races like we did. We're going to be talking maybe about having a couple more of them longer races. Maybe not 30 laps, maybe 25.
Right.
But throwing some money at it.
Wow.
Maybe do like a hard charger. $100 hard charger.
I'm sure they'd be interested in that.
hard luck awards.
Yeah,
the first guy out,
absolutely.
give him a little money, add some money to the winner, and I'm willing to help out with all that.
Cool.
If we can go the right direction with this class, keep it where it is. Don't expand the rules anymore. Let's keep it. Let's keep it affordable.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I've with the 4-cylinders, I was a little skeptical years ago when I started watching them. Like, 4-cylinders, but I kind of discounted them. But over the years, it's really caught on, and it's caught on to me too. But to see the fans in the stands really go for the 4-cylinders like they have, and it's growing, and I think it's a great class, a great class of cars.
Well, I think it's growing for the simple fact that you can afford it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of classes that you can't afford, and Bobby, you're doing it with your son. I mean, there's people that get involved in it because they can't afford a big car. You know what I mean? And you don't want to, like you said, you don't want to change the rules too much and sell yourself right out of the deal. So, but yeah. We appreciate you calling, Bob, and we appreciate you sponsoring our show. And you know how I feel about you and your wife, man. You guys have been family to me for a long time. So I guess you're done racing for the year, or you got something else in mind?
No, we're done. We're done. Before we go, though, I just want to mention my crew. About those guys. About Kim Cook, Joe Ferris, Tom. My father-in-law Al, and of course my wife Sherry and Ed.
Yep.
And a guy named sometimes Larry. We have to thank those guys because, I can't do it all myself. It wouldn't be the same trying to do it all yourself. And those guys help out, especially when we have 2 cars there. And those cars, if you don't bang them up, they don't need a lot. They don't need as much maintenance like them big cars do. But, you still got to fuel them up, air up the tires, and check the lug nuts, and get the tear-offs ready and clean them up, and all that stuff.
Yep.
So we got to thank the crews.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely, Bob. Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate your family, and hopefully down the road I'll be able to be there every week, and I'll be able to be chatting with you guys like I used to.
I hope so. I hope we can get it worked out. It's get some of that back that we used to have.
Well, we're working on it.
It's missed, and we need it back. We need it back to grow the sport. We need it back for get fans in the stands and to make it like it used to be.
Well, we found that out Saturday night, how much we were missed and how much the people appreciate what we do, and I kind of knew that. And I'm not the kind of person to stick my chest out there. I let the people do the talking for me, but somebody's definitely not watching and listening. So hopefully somebody got the message Saturday night, and we can go back there. I'll do whatever I got to do, Bob, to go back home. And I've said that several times. I guess I'm just not saying it to the right person. I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
I want you to do when I run.
All right, Bob.
All right.
I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, talk to you.
All right, brother. Thanks. Who we got now?
Oh, we shall find out.
WBCB.
That's a pizza order.
Large pie, sausage, and pepperoni.
That's right.
Ryan. We got Hollywood Ryan Cratchin on the line. Is that who we have?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Nicky?
Now, you know how you got that nickname, right?
Yeah, back in quarter midgets from Big Rich Grasso.
Yeah. Well, your mom told me that was your nickname because I was going to call you Flying Ryan, and she said nope. She said his nickname is Hollywood. I said yeah, but we had a Hollywood. That was Brian Godown. She goes, nope, he's Hollywood. I said okay, I'm not arguing with you. You never argue with a woman at all. But no, man, you got to ride in the Pizza Pizzazz Mobile. I call it the Pie Wagon. And you went to Delaware and you won. That had to make everybody happy, right?
Yeah. I mean, those guys have been putting in a lot of hard work, and we've been getting acquainted the past, couple of weeks since I got on board with them, and we definitely had a learning curve throughout the process, but glad that I could knock one off, especially this year, a month or so, or a couple months into us starting to drive for those guys to really show what their hard work can do. So I'm grateful for them and grateful for the opportunity from Danny, and hopefully we can win some more races for him.
Yeah, I mean, did he bring any pizza for you yet? Because he's got like the best pizza around, dude.
He does have some good pizza.
Oh, my
so
God.
every time that I go down to the shop, I make sure to stop in and either grab a slice, cheesesteak, really everything on the menu is great. So
yeah, he's got a hell of a couple businesses there. We went to a sand pit down there in Vineland, and I said, wait a minute. I said, we just passed Danny's Pizza Pizzazz. We got to go in there for lunch. And I went there, and I was like, he's too far away from me. But now, you still got all your stuff still? All your race car stuff?
Yeah, so I still have all my stuff. We'll probably break out, 29 throughout the course of the year next year, and take that on the road up north and try maybe get some more New York races under our belt. Everybody that I've talked to, from Ryan Godown to other people that run the series, say that that's really how you get good as a driver. And I mean, you could see it in Godown when he went up there for a year. He came back here and knocked off pretty much every big win out there. So I'm excited to be able to race some more, and those guys working on the car and taking that load off of us will really help us get some of those races that we wish we could have done, just ran out of time.
Right. Now, you're going to drive for him next year, and then you're just going to do sporadic stuff with your stuff, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan for sure. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Their guys are having a lot of fun with it. So
good.
I think we got a good thing going right now, where we can knock off a bunch of races for the 51 team, and definitely with them taking care of the race cars for the most part, that frees me up a lot, especially with work and everything. So a lot of people don't realize who they're seeing when they look at the crew of the 51. Of course, Danny, we all know he's known as Pizza Boy, but you have Bob Westcott, who's been around racing for a long time, and you have Bill Clark. If you remember the 026 cars and you remember the 51s, Bob is Sammy Westcott's uncle. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so they know what they're doing, and they know how to get cars to victory lane. You won in Delaware. So, I mean, Bob, I know Bob for a long time. I know Mr. Clark for a long time. He's an old body man also, but that 026 won a lot of races, and the 51 won a lot of races too. And usually everybody that drives for Danny wins races too. So when I saw that you won, I said, yep, we got to get him on the show. I was going to have you on the show anyhow, but that just was the icing on the cake. And of course, I'm friends with your father and your mom. You got a great family, and you present yourself very well as a young man. You just keep going up the ladder, kid, because you're doing things right. I appreciate it. I've known you pretty much my whole life, and growing up in New Egypt, it's cool to see you still there and announcing for me when I come by. So it's pretty cool how the circle always comes around.
Yeah, absolutely. So. All right, well, just keep getting it done, and I'll be keeping my eye on you. We're going to be at Motorsports, so if you come to Motorsports, stop by our booth and see us. We'd be happy to talk to you then, too.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I appreciate you having me, and it's always good to talk to you, Nikki, and to count my guys. They're awesome. Danny, all the guys, Bob and Clark, and all the rest of the crew, what they really bring to the table. So. I'm glad that we could get one done for them, and hopefully the future is bright, and we can knock some more off for them too.
All right, brother. I'll be talking to you.
All right, good talking to you, Nikki.
Thanks, Rye. I appreciate you calling. Thank you.
Yeah, let's take a break.
All right, we're going to take a break real quick, and we got a caller that we'll have right after the break.
Did you know the cost to American taxpayers of each illegal immigrant is nearly $9,000 per year, according to the Federation for American Immigration Reform?
Total cost since 2021, $72.8 billion.
Our current leaders in Washington have irresponsibly allowed over 7 million illegals to enter the U.S., 5 times the number of illegal immigrants from our prior elected officials.
While millions of illegals place massive pressure on public programs, fentanyl pours across our borders, causing countless deaths. Washington leaves the door open, and we pay.
Elected officials aren't just ignoring us. They're willfully defying the law they swore to uphold.
We cannot afford to let this dangerous dangerous agenda continue.
It's time our nation has a secure border.
This election, reject reckless spending and demand real border security.
Advocate for America paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad.
Join host Paul Domowitch and Paul Jalovitz this and every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken. Join the Paws as they'll have a different Eagles alumni guest each week and break down the team's upcoming matchup. It's the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
And we're back here on a Wide Open Wednesday. Once again, here are your hosts, Nick Leach and Fred Fletcher.
All right, my buddy Mike tells me that my boom mic, he's blocking Fred.
That's okay.
So that's all right. But yeah, speaking of Mike,
I have a face for radio anyway.
My buddy Mike just got another operation for his arm. He was the guy that tried to blow his head off with a tire. So Mike Errico is doing well. He made it through his operation and he's mending. So. All the prayers that you put on the internet for him work, gang. So thanks a lot. And Mike, get better quick because I can't handle all the aggravation. All right, who we got? Paul, your favorite fan is going to talk to you right now. After what you did Saturday night, we're pretty proud of you, young man.
Hey, Paul, it's Fred. It was, I was watching you during the match race, and you were really kicking it out there. And I've been a fan of yours for a couple of years, watching you race the last couple of years, and it's always fun watching you. You run clean, you run hard against even like some of the. You were talking about it on Saturday when Nick was interviewing about running against some of the top names like Billy Pouch and stuff like that. And I was down at Bridgeport for your first win down there at the beginning of the year, and it was something to see. So I'm really proud, and I'm really proud to like pull for you into races. I'm happy for you.
I'm thinking somebody pissed you off before you went out there because I'm like, wow, look at this guy. He's flying, and then you don't talk that much to begin with. That's why I call you the silent assassin. And then all of a sudden you go. I thought you were going to clear the board on that, Paul. Did you make Did you make a mistake or no?
Yeah, thank you for the kind words, but yeah, I should have called out Justin. I knew he was going to be hard to beat, and if I got by him, everybody else would have been a little bit easier. But Justin, he's just really good this year. He's been on point, and yeah.
Yeah, you're not too shabby either.
No, I thought you had that after about 2 or 3 of those runs. I was like, yeah, he's going all the way.
Yeah, I think Justin kind of got in your head there when he kept jumping the starts there. But, I mean, you really showed what you could do. I mean, you've come a long way in a short time. Your day's coming, dude. Trust me. Don't throw in the towel yet. I know your dad's really proud of what you're doing. I'm proud of what you're doing. And, you have always been one of my favorites. And, what are you doing the end of the year? You got any end of the year stuff going? We got any more races left?
Yeah, I got Georgetown this weekend, and then after that, I think I'm done for the year.
Now, what's your brother doing? He's done now, right?
Yeah, he's done for the year. He's just school and making me feel old.
Making you stop it. How old do you think I feel with Justin and Brandon? They were on top of the counter in the announcer's booth. Little. I feel really old. Then I did the match races, which was pretty cool, and I had a lot of fun with that. I mean, you had a lot of fans over there sitting in the grandstand yelling and screaming for you. I think Hartwig's dad probably don't have a voice this week. He was yelling so loud. But what are you doing next year? Have you made up your mind what you're going to do for next year, Paul?
No, not yet. I'm either going to run New Egypt weekly and then go up to New York as much as possible, or just race up in New York as much as I can and then come back home and race whenever there's nothing to do up there.
That's what Ryan Krachin was just saying, too. He said a lot of them guys are telling him to go up to New York follow some series stuff and get as much seat time as you can. Is that kind of how you're feeling too?
Yeah, I ran up there at Orange County and Oswego, and it's a whole other animal up there. You learn so much in just those few weeks there than I feel like you learn back home and racing the same place every week, the same few tracks.
Well, I became accustomed to you when we did the iRacing thing, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of people are, you got to keep your eye on this Mancini kid. He's rammy and he's all over the place. And now look at you, you're running a modified and you're winning races and stuff. So guess what? You proved all them wrong, didn't we?
Yeah, those iRacing series for New Egypt was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot
like
of
that
fun.
Again.
Yep, that was a lot of fun. So, just keep doing what you're doing, Paul. I'm sure I'm going to see you along the way. Me and Mr. Fletcher here are debating whether we're going to go to Bridgeport or not this weekend. But other than that, just keep doing what you're doing. Tell your dad I said hi. Give your brother a hug for me, all right?
Thank you, will do.
All
right, thanks, Paul. We appreciate your call.
There's another call.
Oh,
there he is.
Oh, there he is. Oh. Mr. Wortman, how are you, young man?
Nicholas, how are you doing?
I'm good. You know, there's some pretty neat pictures that they put up of you on Wide Open Wednesday. There's some old pictures on there, too.
You both had dark hair.
And we had dark hair.
Yeah, you both had dark hair.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a full head of hair when I started this job.
Yeah, well, you know, when you scratch your head up there in the tower like we do, going, what the hell? I mean, I got to tell you, Pete, I went there Saturday night not knowing what was going to happen, and just to go up in the tower and see you and be able to sit up there with you again and do what we did. 100 million things went through my mind, but I was so glad that I went and I got to spend some time with you. That was the biggest pleasure to do that.
Oh, it was so much fun, and you know, I've missed you every week, and it was just a great way to end the year, to be honest. And you know, you could tell the fans were all over you when I drove around the golf cart with you. Everybody wanted to stop and talk to you. Everybody's missed you, so. It wasn't the same without you. Look, Jim does a great job. The announcing is not what I'm talking about. It's just being with you.
Right, and that's what I'm talking about too. I mean, it's you know, it's not the same. Now, of course, it's not going to be the same because it's not me. It's different. You know what I mean? Everybody, after 26 years, it would have been 27 years this year. After 26 years, you're not going to be susceptible to somebody else doing what I did, and they're not going to do what I did. And for Mr. Oliver to do what he did and let me do the match races, I'll be honest with you, and maybe I'm gloating, but there's nobody that's going to do the match races like I do at New Egypt. That ain't going to happen.
No, absolutely. And Phil was talking to me about it right from the start of the night, and we made sure it happened. So I'm glad he asked me for my help with it, and I'm glad we could make it happen because it was awesome. I was a fan sitting up there listening to you.
Yeah, well, I've been a fan of yours for 27 years, and I want to be a fan for 27 more. I've always said this: you're the mild guy and I'm the wild guy, and it's Pistol Pete and Diamond Sweet. I labeled that suite up there when we first started, and you know, you and I are the original dynamic duo, and nobody's ever going to be able to change that. You know how I feel about you, Pete. I love you more than anything in this world, and I'll do anything for you, and I know you'll do anything for me. And it was a pleasure to be up there with you. And I was playing some music up there, and people are turning their backs and looking up. They knew what was up. It was pretty obvious.
Hey, Pete, do you notice a common theme here that no matter who Nick's with, the other person's the straight guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Fred. I was just going to say, I'm your straight guy.
Yeah, same
I'm
here.
fine with it, by the way.
I mean, when Andy started all this, you know, he said, I got a guy from hers. He's a potato chip guy. He's going to kind of be the mild guy, and you're going to be the guy out in front of the crowd acting like a nut. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And yeah, who would ever thought? Pete, we see stuff now at different racetracks that you and I started 27 years ago. They weren't doing what we did.
Yeah.
And now they all do it.
Yep.
They play music before the heat races and the features. Nobody done that. We started all that. And I'm
look,
proud of
Andy
that.
Andy was a visionary. I mean, if you
Right.
think about it.
Right, and I'm proud of that. I mean, I'm proud of what he taught us. He said it's not rocket science; it's entertainment. Sell the hot dogs and the sodas and entertain the people.
He gave two guys with no experience an opportunity.
Yeah.
For the start 1998, and it's been 27 years now. I mean, you didn't have experience. You knew everybody. You're always around racing your whole life. I was on the other side, sitting in the grandstands as often as I could get my dad to take me, and I grew up around it too, but in a different light. Right. And for him to give both of us a shot, I mean, I sent him a demo tape. He told me I was the only one out of 8 people that applied to send a demo tape, and my tape was me screwing around at Flemington, just having a good time trying to do something when my dad couldn't make it one night on a little handheld tape recorder.
Well, that's what I did too, and I sent it to Mark Blackwell. Yep. Believe it or not, Mark Blackwell was
10
very
or 12
instrumental.
years old.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that happened. I never talked on the mic. You never talked on the mic like that, and all of a sudden, here we go. I mean, and people know who we are. Everywhere I go, people know about us, Pistol Pete and the Diamond Suite, and, the dynamic duo, and, it's just, and that one picture says it all with your biography there on our Wide Open Wednesday page. And, we had to have you on the show.
Look at the opportunities it opened up for both of us. You've been to Maple Grove. You've done things you never thought you'd get a chance to do. You've interviewed people, Tony Stewart. And on the other side, I got a chance to do Eastern States 2 different times.
Yeah.
I've got a chance to work for Brett for the last 8 years, whenever I could.
Yep.
I've been down at Georgetown since 2016, and this weekend I get to do something else because Jeff's going to be at Georgetown, so Mike Mallett asked me to come up and announce at Thunder Mountain this weekend, so I'm doing that Friday and Saturday.
Absolutely.
And that's a very cool deal, too.
I wouldn't trade none of it. The whole 26 years of it, I wouldn't trade none of it. There's only one thing I would trade, and we all know what that is. I just got done telling Bobby Drayton, I'll do whatever we got to do to get it done. But I know it's not me, so it is what it is.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And you know what? Speaking of Bobby, it was nice to see him in victory lane for the second time this past Friday night. I know there weren't a lot of people there, but it was on Dirt Track Digest, and he's such a great guy, and it's good to see him having some success coming back out of retirement from, for a long time, really.
And he's having fun. He's having fun doing what he's doing. He's having a blast.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's a fun division.
Yep. Well, we're going to be around for a while with this Wide Open Wednesday thing, Pete. So you're going to be a fixture. You're going to be a part of it. And when you come to Motorsports, make sure you come over to our booth, because we're going to be doing live interviews and stuff like we always do. And I want you to be a part of that. So make sure you come see us.
Absolutely.
All right, brother.
All right,
I will.
All right, Pete. Thanks for calling. We appreciate your call.
Thanks for having the booth warm on Saturday night, too.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
no
Pete.
problem.
Give Diane a hug and a kiss
warm
for me.
even when it's 100 out.
Give Diane a hug and a kiss for me.
I will, absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. Thanks for calling. See you. How many minutes we got left there?
Number 2?
1 or 2.
1 or 2 minutes.
1 or 2 minutes. Fred, say what you got to say.
I don't have anything to say.
You don't have nothing to say? Well, first of all, I appreciate everything that everybody does here for Wide Open Wednesday. Fred, of course, Kate, who goes above and beyond what you should do for us for the show. Fletcher's Garage, Bob Drayton, Sage Chiropractic, all our sponsors. If you want to be a sponsor of this show, all you got to do is give me a call or Fred a call. We'll hook you up with a sponsorship. It doesn't cost a lot of money to be a sponsor of this show.
And
Trust me.
You get good exposure because we put you on not just a radio show. You'll be also on our Facebook pages and our Wide Open Wednesday pages and tying into my YouTube channel. As soon as Craig gets back out, as soon as the election's over, and he's back from CBS, we'll be doing a whole lot of videos and stuff for Wide Open Wednesday and America's Mechanic.
Now, come November, it's The Leadfoot ladies are racing. They'll start come November. Kate's going to get that all in coordination. We're going to do that. So for right now, we're going to sign off. Don't forget to call in tomorrow, 9 to 9:30, America's Mechanic, Mr. Fred Fletcher. And then from 9:30 to 10, it's the Need for Speed. So make sure you give them a call. Thanks, guys. Have a
good
safe
night.
drive home.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.